I think by now people are starting to catch on to the fact that life is spiritual before it is physical. We often forget that what dominates this physical plane is something that happens in the unseen realms. The easiest way to describe that and to explain that is thought. Something that is invisible is what creates action. So everything that we see taking place on the world stage today, just know that everything is happening exactly as it is meant to. This is God's plan. Because for a long time, people have not wanted to believe what is really taking place. Many human beings need to see to believe. And so everything taking place on the world stage is essentially we are witnessing the collapse of the old world. Maybe you've heard the saying before that the Roman Empire never collapsed, because what happened is the Roman Empire became the American Empire. And everything that we see taking place in the Middle East there between the Middle East and America is an indication of the fact that we are going to see the collapse of the Roman Empire by way of the American Empire. Because if we think about it, I remember thinking when I was younger, when I was even just a child, all the wars that were taking place in the world, somehow America was always involved. And why is that? Because America really just took over the role of the Roman Empire. And it's becoming more and more difficult for me to share these videos because a lot of my videos are either being flagged, taken down, or not being eligible for recommendation according to what TikTok has to say. So if you resonate with this video, or if you resonate with any of my content generally, I urge you to go and check out some of the other videos on my page because they're not being seen by a lot of people. And right now, truth is what is needed more than anything before, because the only way that we allow this old system to collapse is by spreading truth. And maybe you will have heard of a project called Project Looking Glass. And essentially what Project Looking Glass was some kind of technology that allowed those in positions of power to... Yes, so I was talking about Project Looking Glass. And so Project Looking Glass was some technology that those in power had access to, where they could see the probability of what would take place or what the outcome would be if they took certain actions. But what's interesting is that once they got to 2012, it seemed that no matter what they did, they would not be able to change anything anymore. And if you remember, there was a lot of crazy stuff that happened in 2012, including when the Mayan calendar said that the world would end. But again, this is why knowledge is power, because they want us to believe that the world is ending. But what is ending is not really the world, but their world, the system that they have constructed, a system in which humanity has not been free, a system in which we have forgotten about the values that really make us human, because the core of their system is really based on technology. And this is now when we start going into transhumanism, where their goal has always been about merging man and machine. And when we see the development of AI and we now start seeing the development of robots, it's really to take us further and further away from humanity, to take us further and further away from human connection. But everything is happening exactly as it should be. There is no reason to fear. And this is not to say that there isn't going to be a lot of chaos going on, because as something crumbles, there will always be a bit of mess. Just like when a building falls, there's going to be debris, there's going to be dust, it's going to be messy, it's going to have to be cleaned up afterwards. But the thing is, everything that is taking place at this moment has to take place so that people can see exactly what kind of system they have been upholding. And what's happening also is that we are starting to remember that we are spiritual before we are physical. And this is why the world has been set up in a way that limits our potential, that limits our consciousness, because human consciousness is expansive. And everything within this world has been created in such a way to limit our consciousness. Essentially, everything in this system and this world has been created to keep us in lower levels of consciousness, to keep us dumb, to keep us in lower vibrational energies in the form of what emotions we mainly carry. And this is why so many people carry fear. This is where there is so much division between religion, racism, classism, genderism, feminism, nepotism. All the isms are man-made constructs that were created to create more division, to create more separation. But when we start to realize, and this is what is taking place on the world stage at this moment, is that humanity is starting to realize that regardless of what nationality we are, regardless of the skin color we carry, regardless of where we're from, which families we were born into, whatever, we have to realize that it is really just an us versus them. Those who carry light versus those who carry evil, because that really is the battle that is taking place, and it is the battle that has taken place for as far back as we can remember. But so now what is happening when we talk of the book of Revelations, revelation simply means that something will be revealed. And because, coming back to Project Looking Glass, they knew that once 2012 came around, there was nothing that they would be able to do that would change the outcome, because the outcome of what is taking place right now is that all timelines are merging. We are on the trajectory of spiritual ascension, of consciousness expanding, and that is going to happen regardless. But the reason why there is so much chaos, the reason why there is so much pressure, is because that's just how we are as human beings. We all get comfortable in our little comfort zone, that until something forces us to move, we're unwilling to move. And that's how we've been trapped in the system for so long, because what the system has done is the system has made us so comfortable that we were unwilling to move, even though we've been seeing evil and horrific things happening all around us for as far back as we can remember. Because we were so comfortable, so many people didn't want to do anything about it, because it was happening to other people. But now that it's happening to the whole world, to every nation, every kind of person, we're all being forced to move. It's kind of like in nature, once you start pruning a bush, it actually helps that bush to grow. Or it's like when somebody sets a fire to land just before the rains, it's to help it build in its fertility, so that when somebody plants there, more will be able to be harvested. And so that is essentially what is happening. Mother Earth is also a living being, and for so long she has been extracted and she has been abused. And so she too was setting fire to herself. She too is calling down the rains and creating floods, because all of these are different ways for Mother Earth to cleanse. And the thing is, so many human beings have become parasitic to the system. And so Mother Earth has to cleanse those parasitic energies so that she too can thrive. So just know that everything that is happening is according to God's plan. Everything has to happen for the truth to be revealed, and for those who decide to get out of their comfort zone and actually do something about it. Because now is no longer a time to be gathering more information, gathering more intel, because by now we know what is happening. The information has been out there for a while now, but now it's about deciding, what actions are you going to take? Are you going to keep moving as if it's business as usual? Or are you going to start realizing that you are spiritual before you are physical? And are you going to start giving more importance to that part of yourself? Because when you do, your life automatically changes.